Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And today we are reviewing Disclosure Day, Spielberg's newest film. As it currently stands, the first weekend, it's at 81% critic score, 72% audience. It has crossed 93 mil globally, 44 domestically, I
No,
believe.
it's higher than that.
It's higher than that.
It's
What's
over
it at?
100 mil because it became the
Oh,
quickest original movie to hit $100 million worldwide ever.
okay. So I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, it said it beat
My bad.
out Sinners, and I forgot the other movie that previously were the record for the quickest to 100 million, and it is now the fastest to 100 million original IP or original movie ever.
That's nuts. Okay.
Spielberg does numbers apparently
Yes,
for
he
opening
does.
weekend at least.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna do in the second weekend.
Yeah, this movie again. We'll get a real quick high level breakdown. Essentially, this movie follows two characters: Daniel Kellner, however you want to say it. Oh, which is Josh
Kellner.
O'Connor and Emily Blunt, who I don't remember her character's name. These two are people that something spooky is going on, if you will. Something odd is going on, and then you have a company Wardex led by Colin Firth, and we learn that there are aliens' existence and Wardex is trying to keep it hidden. Well, Josh O'Connor knows about this, and he is working with Hugo Coleman Domingo to find a way to disclose this to everybody. And along the way, him and Emily Blunt have some kind of connection that they don't know, but Emily Blunt starts to be able to basically read people's mind and really connect with them. And she has some kind of connection with Josh O'Connor's character that she needs to meet him, link up with him for some reason that she does not understand. And eventually we learn that these two had an alien experience when they were younger together, and they are basically being awoken through these little pillar thingies that are alien tools.
Tech.
Yeah, tech, I guess. And the two of them are trying to disclose to the entire world that the aliens are here and they're being communicated through them. That's essentially a very, very quick breakdown. If you've seen the movie, you know what it's about. If you haven't, I don't know why you're here. There's other channels that'll break it down a much higher level. Josh, thoughts?
Yeah, let's just be honest. I think when I first saw the first trailer for this movie, I came out one after seeing it excited, thinking, man, it's about to be peak. It's going to be great, phenomenal. Second trailer showed its true colors. And that's how I kind of felt like the movie was like the second trailer. It kind of just felt like it was an aged movie by an aging director trying to do a sci-fi film because he's been seeing these up-and-coming directors just go crazy with that genre lately, and he wanted to get involved, but had a lot of old-fashioned ideas. Like, I mean, for starters, the fact that the big thing to try to release this was happening at a newscast room, some parts of that kind of felt just whatever. The plot overall was pretty generic for me. I think there also was a lot of times where Vortex and the government goons kind of felt stormtrooper-esque, where it was very easy to escape out of them trying to chase him, even though they had these all-powerful weapons and abilities, but yet it was very easy every time for them to get out. Daniel, played by Josh O'Connor, I think he still did good. Kind of felt clueless sometimes, too, about his surroundings. And it was just kind of whatever. I think with this and a movie that we're just recently talked about with He-Man, I kind of went into this knowing what I was going to get, and I got that. So I wasn't necessarily too angry with what I had or too disappointed. I know I've been seeing a lot of people, at least on my TikTok feed, actually really hating this movie. So I was actually surprised when you said what the audience score and the ratings are for it. Maybe it's just a lot of Gen Z people just hating on it more than maybe the older audience that actually goes on to make those reviews on there. But I know a lot of people were super disappointed how this film was, and they really did not like it. For me personally, it kind of was. I knew what I was going to get, and it was okay enough for me throughout. So,
Yeah, I pretty much agree. This I mean, I didn't see that second trailer as much as everyone was talking about it. I didn't see it, so I can't
Showed a
say
lot.
to what
I saw
it does.
everything.
Okay, well,
I
see,
saw trailers that
I
they didn't
kind
even
of
put
went
out to the
in.
public, I swear.
Oh, damn.
Steven Spielberg
Okay.
was
Well,
personally
yeah,
sending me
no,
trailers and clips of the movie.
He was. Blake was being targeted for some good reason.
I was being targeted.
Damn, that's wild. That's wild. I'd only seen that first one, so when I went into this, I was kind of expecting a certain thing, and I didn't quite get that. So, I mean, I still wasn't like, I hate this fucking movie or anything like that, but it kind of was a whatever film for me, and that's quite unfortunate considering I kind of was a little bit hyped for it. Um, and it just did not live up to it. I mean, for me, I thought it was okay. From my parents' perspective, I think this is their kind of movie. So they kind of felt along the same way as the audience. They had this 75 to 80% kind of feeling, and I was more in the lower end of that. So yeah. A highlight was the car chase sequence that went into the train. That was a pretty good scene. Apart from that, there's all the scenes with Coleman Domingo. Yeah, he was dope. He's never gonna phone it in. That's what I've learned from him. He's never going to phone it in. Yeah.
Nah, man is out there to work. Yeah, this is a movie that my TikTok was the same thing as you, Josh. It just started blowing up with all the hate, and I went crazy because I absolutely loved this movie. I was so confused when I saw all the hate. I was like, what's happening right now? Let me tell you, they were marketing me for a certain reason. It's just like Begonia. Begonia was targeting me so heavy, and that had some kind of an alien element of the plot of that movie. They know. The algorithm knows this guy, he fucks around with aliens. So they said, alien movie, give him it all. And I loved it. Yeah, I think there was so many. I thought Emily Blunt, this was her best performance, I think, of her career. I loved her. I thought she was phenomenal. Her breakdown, like panic scene in the train, and Josh O'Connor trying to help her with going through her dad having Parkinson's and abandoning him. I thought that scene was phenomenal. Yeah, from an acting standpoint, like you said, Coleman Domingo, I thought was unbelievable. Loved his character. I think Colin Firth, I feel like I haven't seen him in a hot minute. I thought he was really
Since
good
Kingsman.
in this villain role. Yeah, I mean, genuinely. I thought in a villain role that was a bit of a generic role, I thought he was really good in some of the scenes. His interrogation scenes of, I don't remember the actress's name, but Jane, kind of the first time that he did the dive on her. I thought his interrogation scene was good. And I think Colin Firth and Coleman Domingo scene together, where he's like kind of trying to interrogate him, and they're having this whole talk about aliens, and the side of Coleman Domingo talking about like empathy is part of our evolution and is part of evolution, and Colin Firth's whole debate about like humanity's not ready for this, they're on the brink of war, if we bring them to what could happen. I thought that scene was excellent. I thought the writing for a movie that had pretty bad writing for the most part, I thought that scene was just phenomenal to me. So yeah, I absolutely loved this movie. I think this movie has some of the best camera work that I have seen in a while. That scene of Josh O'Connor where he's stealing the car, that scene, like, I was in the theater like, how are they doing this? Because they had the camera in front of him coming around the fences, and then it like swings around to go from his perspective, all in one shot,
Yeah.
and you don't see it. Like, that whole scene I thought was incredible, the way that the camera work was going, that you didn't see anything, and then for it to end, for the camera to get on the other side and shut the car door, I thought that was phenomenal. There was another, I mean, I think the whole like oneer thing is a little like overplayed, of everybody thinking oneers are so special, except for when it's like actually done in a way that's interesting. And I thought Emily Blunt, right before she had her whole first episode on live TV, that was a pretty long oneer of following her from walking into the place, talking to people, and then she goes and sits down with the man and she's speaking another language and then coming back. I
Korean,
thought that
yeah.
in the scene, I was kind of like, damn, I feel like the camera works kind of like it was one of those rare times where I was like, the camera work here is phenomenal. So to me, I think there's a lot that stood out in terms of that. And I already mentioned some of the acting things that I thought was great. And at the end of the day, it had aliens. So I'm in on that.
What I will say is I enjoyed the 2/3 of the film more than I did like the last third of it. For me, I felt like I kind of liked
Kinda
them
how I
on
felt
the
a little bit, too.
run, and then like that last third of the film kind of just, I don't know. I don't know what it was about it exactly. Maybe it is like the news thing, like you're talking about, Josh. Maybe it's kind of like the whole setup of them. Then she's like trying to make them invisible and stuff. I'm like, okay, I get it. It is kind of cool, but then it kind of went on a little too long for me. And then that went straight into the news thing. I felt like from there, it was kind of just like, I don't know. It felt a little different from the other 2/3 of the film. But I did enjoy like the whole reveal of them as kids and then seeing like what they saw and everything. I thought that was all cool, but yeah, that last third was just a bit off for me. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on what it was.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And then, like, I was surprised to see. Maybe I've just been giving this film a lot of grace because I think, let's be real, man. If this movie came out like 5, 10 years ago, I think there just would be no debate that it's a solid to good movie. That like everybody would be in agreement with that. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of giving that with a grace, even if it does feel a little bit aged. Who gives a shit, to be honest? But I was surprised at just like, man, dude, like people really hated it. And like you just said, like you really liked Colin Firth in this one. That was one I saw a lot of people did not agree with you. That they were super hard on him. And I was like, okay, I thought he did fine. I think my criticism for him was like you even said, he was just a little bit generic.
Yeah, the character was
generic.
not anything special. Yeah, but I thought he performed well in that role.
Yeah, I don't think anybody did bad in terms of acting wise at all for their character, but I don't know. I for how I describe this film is if you tell me you loved it, like Blake's saying right now, I totally get it. I will not argue against you, but I will argue a little bit if you say you absolutely hated it because that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, there's nothing to like hate about the movie.
Yeah,
because like
you were doing
like
way
you're
too
saying,
much then.
Yeah, I felt like every performance was either good to just amazing, and I would agree. Emily Blunt is she fucking killed it in this movie, and then I love Coleman Domingo. He's fantastic, and I agree with you. That scene with him and Colin Firth, I forgot about it, but that now that you start talking about it, that was a good scene. And then the guys walk in the house after he told them not to go in there, and then that's what starts off that whole thing. So I thought all that was done well. To me though, it was like everything was done good to well, but it didn't quite hit what I wanted it to. I felt like there was just one like another level that it just didn't quite reach for me, but again, I don't know why. I haven't gotten any of that like, feed of people hating on the film. But yeah, I don't know why anyone would hate the movie outright, like calling it
it's crazy.
Trash.
The amount of hate, like people talking about like this is the worst movie ever. This is the worst movie they've seen. Like if anybody gives this movie, like if anybody likes this movie, it's insane. Like I don't remember the last movie I've seen so many TikToks of like people straight up like hate this movie. It's god awful. If you find anything good about it, like what are you talking about? Like it was crazy last night. Like the couple days after seeing it, I was like, what the hell is happening right now? Like I really enjoyed this movie. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but yeah. And I mean, I thought like you said, I do feel like there's a lot of things that were dated, but I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Like this is an old man director who's done good movies in the past that he made a fun movie. Like I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. I loved the whole broadcasting scene. I thought the actress who played the actual newscaster, I thought she did a phenomenal job of like in the moment, just getting all of this information dumped on you as you're live, just being like, oh, I don't really know what we're seeing. And then just her like progression throughout it of like starting to tell people like, I don't even know what to say or how to process this anymore because there's just so much evidence coming out, and then like giving it to all the news stations, regardless of what their affiliates were. I thought that she did a phenomenal job in that little role of just like, I think that was just the reality of like what would happen in that situation of just like, you don't know what to do at first. You're like, is this fake? And people are like, no, this is all real. And it just kept going. And it's like, at a certain point, she just became like speechless and just overran with emotion that it was like, what the fuck is happening? This is insane. And I saw some people, one of the big kind of complaints, because I was really starting to get into like, why do people hate this movie that I don't see this for? A lot of people were like, oh, the ending was awful, and talking about like, we didn't get to live in the alien world very much and stuff. And I'm like, to me, I thought that was phenomenal. The ending of like, that's not his job to like explain what the world is or what people would feel like. That would be such a monumental moment that everybody would have such different reactions that it's like, I enjoyed the ending was kind of more just like open of like, people are now just going to process it and do what they do. And like Wardex, warned that like, we're on precipice of World War III happening. Like if we put this out, we don't know how people react. It's like, yeah, that is kind of what would happen. You would have deniers. You'd have people who would treat them like gods. Like there was a very underbaked. I wish they would have done more, but the religious background of this movie of, Jane talking about, is this against God's creation? Like, what would he think of this? Like, I thought
and
the
her
religious
calling
aspect, the nun, I feel like that could have either been taken out or it needed more time. I feel like it was an underbaked storyline, but I think that is a very interesting point that would be a massive thing of what religion would do. And Emily Blunt, at one point, people like kind of like kneeled to her and she's like, I will not be your religion. Like, again, the whole thing is some people treat aliens like they are deities of some kind. So yeah, I really enjoyed the ending being more open, and I knew that was one thing a lot of people didn't like, and I was like, that's not his responsibility to tell you what people would feel or how the world would react to that. That's just what would happen. So
plus it's called Disclosure Day. That's not called the day after Disclosure Day, So it's like
that was a lot of things. People were like, we didn't live in the world. It's like the whole point was like just telling people of aliens. I'm like, I don't know, the title is Disclosure Day. Like it feels like the point of the movie was going to be disclosing the information. It's not answering the fucking questions for you. Like, use your brain. Why does he have to tell you everything? What would happen?
Use your imagination. Yeah.
It's just, that was one of the big things that I just wanted to make sure I pointed out, that people were hating on it, that I was like, I enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, I didn't dislike that part, and maybe it's because I was already kind of expecting it. One, title of the movie. I think also marketing. I mean, you kind of got the vibes that you weren't ever actually gonna know anyways. So it kind of prepared me for that moment of not being disappointing, allowed to kind of just live into what you're just describing there, of the feel, how people react, etc. I think I'm kind of one that a lot of times, especially in the sci-fi movies, I get angry with those open endings. Most recent one that comes to mind is Enemy. They kind of did something like that too, but the difference is you were set up to find out what was going on the whole time, because they show you in the beginning of a scene, making you want that for the whole film. You don't really get that with this. So I think people, I don't know. Maybe it's just the younger Gen Zs, they're hating on it. I don't know why it got so much hate. Bare minimum,
which is nuts,
should be a 5 out of 10 for you. Like, seriously.
Yeah, like I said, it's at 72 audience, and I mean, like I said, my mom and my dad, especially my mom, she loves anything like alien stuff, and she loved this movie. I think if I would ask her, she'd probably give this like around like an 8 something out of 10. But just out of curiosity, just because I was like, where is this all coming from? I went to Letterboxd, since I feel like that's more of like a general people's reaction. It currently has a 3.2 out of 5 stars. And I just read a few of the comments. One of them being, "This is the kind of movie the guy from Begonia would have loved."
Hey,
I mean,
big Begonia guy, big Disclosure Day guy.
Hey, there you go. I found that funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that part, and like I said, the amount of hate that it was getting, it was like, it wasn't marketed like Cowboys versus Aliens. Like, I don't know what you were. That's on you. Right. That's a discussion for you to have with yourself. The movie was marketed pretty accurate to what it was going to be about. So I don't know. I just thought that was something that I thought was wild. Like you said, Josh, I just got so much unbelievable hate. Not even like this movie's. It was straight hating on it that I just thought was crazy.
Something that just popped in my head, that I'm willing to overlook, right? But I just find it kind of funny, is that these aliens that we're led to believe that the whole time, they have these abilities to give to both Josh O'Connor's character and Emily Blunt's character. They have clearly advanced tech where, we have the bad guys diving into other people and stuff like that. But they be crashing. They be crashing all the time. They be crashing. They don't know how to fucking drive, apparently.
Listen, I don't know if this is for sure. There was some speculation. This is mainly, I'm kind of just guessing this. I think some of them hung around the University of Georgia football practices a lot. And so I think that might have influenced. Again, Steven Spielberg didn't confirm this, but I also haven't heard him deny it. So I kind of just inferred that they were big Georgia football fans kind of hanging around the area. And that led to a couple racing incidents that'll, charge it to the game. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Fair.
So, but that happens. But I think unless anybody else has any other thing, we can kind of just get into our ratings here. Alex, thoughts?
Yeah, for me, this was a 6.7 out of 10. It's pretty good. You know, almost hit that like some 7. Not quite, but you know, it's where it's at.
I'm kind of right there with you, Alex. I gave this a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I gave this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I very, very much enjoyed this movie. I already have mentioned I will be seeing this in theaters again before it's out of theaters at some point, I think. I really, really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, I think Steven Spielberg, even at however old he is, there was just some camera things in here that I thought was phenomenal. So, yeah, I fully enjoyed the ride that was Disclosure Day. And, you know, if you didn't, let us know in the comments down below. What's with the hate? What are we hating for? But as always, let us know in the comments below what you thought. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.